Okay, so Shopify had their annual developer event last week, and we were all in Toronto. There were thousands of people there. Um, I was more interested in the things that we've been focusing on for the past couple of years, and that is agentic commerce. So we got a chance to speak with the agentic team at Shopify, Kate and Kyle, and we were there in the sessions that they did. They ran through some of the things like what matters in agentic ranking for brands, for products, and what is it that we can do as brands on our products so that our product data is more accurate and complete, and how do we make sure that we are ahead of our competition at all times. So the biggest takeaway that I had was that the product specs are now seen as solutions, then and that the unit of shopping is actually moving away from keyword based shopping to use case driven shopping. When they were talking about, when they were mapping this to users problems, how customers are now searching for products in ChatGPT and Google and everywhere else, they're essentially starting with a specific thing in mind that they want to solve for, and when they search for that, they expect products to appear. Now Shopify has this job of figuring out how do they map the problem to the products that they have, and that's exactly the problem that we've been focused on solving on with atoms. And we'll look at some of those things quickly, like how we are solving some of that. The way Shopify maps problems to solutions, intent to use cases, is basically based off the product metafields. So the example that Shopify had in their um, presentation was of a Patagonia shorts, that if a user is looking for this, how would they discover this? So if we take how Shopify would go about figuring which shorts to rank first, is baked in how their product data is structured. Now, on the product admin, there's title, there's description, they've existed forever. Uh, we also have category metafields. So when a user queries for anything specific, like a shorts, they likely have a reason to wear the shorts. Are those swim shorts? Are those running shorts? Are those just casual shorts? So the metafields describe what the use cases are, and it's important that we fill in all of these metafields. The better it is filled, the more data the metafields have, the better the chances of discoverability are. Now, the challenge arises when you have thousands of these products. Obviously, using Claude can make it simpler to fill in those the metafields that are there on the products, but it still needs to be in a controlled environment, that the products, the metafields that you're filling in are filled in with the data that's more relevant to your brand. It doesn't fill in garbage, hallucinated values, and that's one of the foundational things that we do here at Atoms. So the way it works is, when you install a Shopify app, you get a dashboard like this. If I go to this product, which was shorts, it automatically generated these metafields. Now, there can be a case, there can be scenarios where you say that, hey, we don't support anything which is made of synthetic. Can we control this? We don't have a color called blue. We call it something else, navy blue or something. We don't have a pattern called solid. So everything that we see here is controlled by on this dashboard, and you configure that once and start set it up, and the AI figures out what is important to your brand and fills in these values appropriately. uh, Once you do this once, it only takes few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, for say thousand products. Every new product that gets added gets these metafields generated automatically, and you do not have to go over it manually at all. So the products get visible, product gets the data that's required by catalog API automatically once you configure it once. So what we just did, we essentially created intent driven product pages, which is very much in line with how Shopify wants it to be. It's not about how Shopify wants it to be. It's essentially how shopping is now evolving. If you go and look at, say, Alexa, you'll notice that people are now searching by intent. You will notice Alexa on Amazon. There's Alexa, which is primary window on every screen now, and they are sort of encouraging you to ask questions. Same goes with Home Depot. They have this assistant where they are now encouraging you to ask questions about, like, how what the problems you're having with certain products, or anything in general. And similar thing is happening with Sephora as well. Now, the reason these are happening like this is our behavior has pretty much evolved into something that's now more intent driven and now question based than it was earlier, which was keyword based, which is also the thing that Shopify is suggesting. What we just did with the content in structuring it in a way that's more understandable, more problem driven, this content is now capable of powering your on site discovery as well. Now, what Atoms is built for is solving for discovery. How do you make people find the things that they are looking for in a much, much faster way? What we just looked at was the automatic metafield generation part is the foundation, is the structure of it that is important to power the search, which is, say, for Amazon, this, or the assistant. Let's say if I search for something, say shirt, I get these. I will, if I go to any product, if I navigate, it starts to show me Alexa with certain queries that I can ask, and it is encouraging me to drive into a different to a specific direction. Think of it exactly in a way that how the users are thinking and how they will want to interact with your site. So on Atoms, you will notice that in addition to catalog, there is also search and there is AI assistant. Now, if I go to search or if I go to AI assistant, this gives you capability to control, to build sort of a harness across your the micro LLM that we create for your store, and that's now able to power search and assistant on your site.